Hello, word nerds! Welcome to our Sunday special live chat, the first chat in months that we've been all together for. All of us. Yay! I'm so excited. Today's topic is NanoWrimo wrap-up / what to do next, what comes next, all those good things. So we're going to start with a quick summary of how NanoWrimo went for us. We'll go according to my screen, so we'll start with Kaylin, and then Emma, then Erica, Erin, Kelly, me.
I was very, very close to winning, but I didn't.
You were so close.
I know. Even now, 7 days later, that like 1 to 2 days that I didn't write anything are haunting me so badly. I made it to 47,000 words, and I was up till midnight, like at the end, and I was trying so hard, but I just couldn't write fast enough. But I mean, overall, see, and I thought about that. I'm like, well, I can go by California time, but like as soon as it hit 12 my time, like you couldn't enter it in anymore on the website. So I was like, man, they were very strict. So I didn't win, but I got 47,000 words that I'm pretty happy with. I think I'm keeping most of them, which is a plus. But
yeah, no deleting.
You weren't even gonna do it, so that is huge.
I wasn't even gonna do it, and I did it, and this is the first time I actually let myself run with a brand new idea in years, and
awesome.
I'm really happy I did because it's awesome.
Emma?
I was very not close to winning. I think I had, I don't know, like 5,000 words or something done. November was not a good month for me, but it's okay.
It happens.
Yeah. I think the important thing about Nano is learning from the experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Erica?
I am trying to figure out how many words I got. It went well for me.
That's an understatement.
83 something, maybe? I can't tell by the chart. I saved it, but I can't see. I can't zoom in. It went well for me because I had all of the momentum, and I think it also helped me that I was toward the end of the book. So during Nano, I finished writing my first draft, and then I didn't write for the last week of November because I had already finished the book, and I just went back and did revisions. So I think November...
What was your word count just for November, though? What was it?
I think it was 83 something.
83,831.
Okay, 83,831. Just for November. The entire book that I wrote was around 135,000, but I started with like 58, I think. So...
She did okay.
I can't even.
That's okay. It was alright.
Erin?
Seriously, I have to follow that. I am in Emma's category as a not doing great for Nano. I think it's because I switched projects like a week in. Because I was like really, like I think I tried writing a genre that's really not for me, and then I was like, I'm really bored, and I switched projects, and then I just couldn't keep up the steam. So, but I did get more words written than I would have because the word nerds started doing the sprints, which I really liked. So I've learned that sprints are really productive for me, so that's what I got out of Nano.
There you go. I finished Nano with not flying colors, but just regular colors. I came in at about 53,000. I did a little project hopping at the end. Like it was all I had a couple books that I was allowed to work on for Nano because it's just stuff I had to get done. So it wasn't like 53,000 in one project, but I'm counting it because that was my game plan. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
Win's a win.
Yeah, definitely. I won crawling on my hands and knees. I got super sick for the 4th week of Nano, in which I was already really far behind. So I ended up writing 25,000 words in the last week.
That's a lot.
Wow.
You should be proud of that. That's a lot. Imagine if you kept 25,000 a week.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know if I could ever do it again. But I ended with like 50,136 words or something. So I like just barely made it. But I'm pretty proud.
Yeah,
that's a manuscript.
Didn't you finish out a little bit of it? in the car on your way home? Like, did you actually do a lot of writing in the car?
Yeah, I was driving home from LA, which was taking probably like 3 or 4 hours because of traffic. And I was just like in the back seat, just like.
That's dedication. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, I don't think I could write.
Not in a moving vehicle. I think I would be car sick.
Yeah, it was
I thought you meant she was driving while writing, and I'm like, I think this is a whole other level.
I'm like dictating it.
The worker do not endorse this.
Dangerous.
Do not write and drive.
No.
Unless you're dictating it, then you could.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
That would work.
And even then, according to the news, if you do text to speech or speech to text, you get worse at driving. So even then,
Yeah, I can believe
according
that.
to the news,
do it.
Have any of you ever used speech
don't
to
do
text and
anything
seen how
but
like
try.
badly it turns out every time?
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be a
annoying.
great story. You go back to the
I would love that.
My story would be punctuated by swear words whenever anyone cut me off, so it doesn't really work very well.
just leave that in.
That
Add
would
some
work
color.
well.
All right.
So, do you guys have plans for like what's coming next? Is it continuing to write the same story or new projects or?
Edits. It's edits. It's a lot of edits. That's what it is. As far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue with the same story. One of the things I realized with Nano is that there's a lot more like plotting that I need to do because I kind of got stuck with like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. So there's like a lot of work I need to do on it before I continue.
Yeah, that's the key for me for Nano is I have to have everything plotted out, like especially the biggest beats of the story, because if it's not, I'm not a pantser. I can't just do it. I have to know where I'm going, which that did help because I think the last day I wrote like 4,000 words. So it was like I still had a huge, like a big triumphant day because that's the most I've ever written in one day. But if it wasn't already plotted out, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I still use that beat sheet you posted forever ago from that video you did.
Yeah. Like, I found one that was, it was like a hybrid, because I've heard of the Save the Cat sheet, and that's more of a 3-act structure. And then I still use the beat sheet from Storyfix. I think his name is Larry Brooks. And it's like, I found one that like mashes both of them together, and that's what I use to plot for my Nano. I should have brought out my note cards. Like, after I got done, I decided to take 2 days to not write anything and just think about the plot, because I did kind of go off a little bit. And I used note cards, and I tore like all my old process back out, and just my desk at work on lunch, because that was the only hour I had free because my family has been sick for an entire week straight. My whole desk was like covered, and I'm like, I really hope no one walks up and just sees like all these neon colored index cards all over my desk. But I replotted, and I am planning on finishing it hopefully by the end of January. I was going to try and finish the end of this month, but I realized I have to read the selection, so I'm going to take a pause and read a lot, and then I'll get back into writing. Which is going to be different because as I was writing, it kind of took a really dark turn. So I think the selection will be a nice big peppy like uplift from what I was writing, so it's a good break.
Yeah, I did the same thing, like, as soon as I finished Nano, like, once that was over and I was getting back into my writing, instead of, obviously I didn't have more to write because I had finished the story, but I went through and I looked at each chapter and just kind of saw where the plot was, and I realized that I messed up the order of 2 chapters, so I switched that around, and then I was looking to make sure it was all chronologically correct, and then I started making notes. Just like skimming through chapters of like, oh, you forgot, like I have a notebook with notes of things that I need to fix in the revisions. Like I forgot about an injury, or I forgot about a backpack, or something like that that just disappears, or somebody shows up and is like, where did you come from suddenly and unexpectedly? So those
I have the
kind of things,
opposite problem.
Look through it.
I don't have missing back. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, I don't, like halfway through a scene, I'm like, all right, you know what? They're playing poker. So then halfway through the scene, they go from doing like nothing to just playing poker. So I have a lot to the opposite to fix.
See, my problem is always backpack related. Like I give my characters something to carry around, and it, so they have to carry it. Fine. I have to remember that this is still with them. So that the future scene
thing, like,
happens.
so much. Like, I had my character with a violin, and then halfway through the scene, the violin would just not be there. And then she would have to refer to it again later, and I'd be like, crap, it's, like, suddenly vanished. Disappearing knapsack syndrome.
I had a hard time with naming
Knapsack
things
syndrome.
like that. Like backpack and sack, and it'd always be inconsistent because like I wanted it to sound fantasy-ish, and backpack doesn't sound super fantasy.
Rucksack.
Backpack sounds super fantasy.
I had it super bad with my last manuscript that I finished up.
What?
I had the problem super bad with my last
I
manuscript.
thought you called it a super bag. I'm
That's
like,
what I heard too.
Very high. It's not very high.
No.
That's weird.
No, super bad. Because she was like a slave and had lived underground, basically, and so she didn't know what anything was. And like, how the heck am I supposed to describe any of this?
Yeah, I had the same backpack problem with Ignite. She has a backpack, and then it's gone. I'm like, God, don't forget your backpack. Your stuff is in there. It's important. I gotta stop giving my characters things to carry around, is what I'm learning. Like, after this, nobody's carrying anything ever.
But usually people are carrying, like women usually have a purse at least, and I realize that none of my characters carry things around with them. None of them have a purse, which doesn't seem realistic to me. But.
It's like particularly like unrealistic when it's like a story where they're traveling a lot and they aren't carrying things with them. It's like, are you never changing clothes and like never brushing your teeth? Like, I think about these things.
I get super gross.
When it's
Yeah,
like
super
constant
gross.
action, and I'm like, when have these people ever gone to the bathroom or anything? Like,
You hold it. You hold it until this war is over. Do you understand, soldier?
You think
until the
Time
story is
you
over.
start, like, you're trying to balance the fantasy of like things are happening and I have to do things with like, okay, but you do have to carry some things and be practical about some things and take
and
a
they have
breath
to
every
eat
now and
at
then.
some point.
Yeah.
And
You
then
should-
not
most
eat too
characters.
much, like the Redwall books where they never did anything but eat.
I remember Redwall. Oh my God,
It was
childhood
like
flashback.
a feast. I'm like, oh, they have a feast, and then
There's like giant wheels of cheese and
That's my
But
kind
it
of
made
life.
me so bad that I
Giant
wanted to
wheels
live
of
in that
cheese.
world, so I could just eat all the food. So
I guess
it
I'll have
wasn't.
another feast. Sure.
What do I do next? I'll add another feast to the manuscript.
But yeah, after I finish my writing, I go back and I'm like, now what is missing and what did I forget halfway through the story? Like I don't plot out so much as I leave character notes, and then I want to make sure that they're consistent to the character notes. So I told Kelly going into this next chapter where she meets a new character, I said, my character notes for her is that she's really optimistic and sweet, but she also swears like crazy. And I forgot that while I was writing it, so I had to go back and edit and add in a bunch of swear words and just be like, pew, curse words. my kind of game. But like things like small things like that I forgot that I really wanted to include in the story, but in the sprint of Nano,
yeah, you're just trying to get the story
it fell
down.
behind.
Yeah.
Fine, you can go back and add those things later.
Yeah, I'll just add a couple swear words here and there, just pepper them in. No one will know.
Dash
Well, now they all
here,
know.
dash there.
Yeah, they all know.
I think that's an
I keep
important
all the
thing.
same words.
But I think that's an important thing when you're going back and revisiting your Nano manuscript is it's not going to be exactly what you want it to be or what you wanted it to be when you started. Like, you wrote a whole novel in 1 month. Like, there's going to be things you forgot or there's going to be things you added in, like, things you messed up. So it's not going to be perfect and it's okay.
Yeah. And this means please, please, please do not publish it immediately and do not send it to any agents. Because
No.
if you send
Don't
it, you
even
can't
send it to your
resend it.
beta readers yet.
don't
It's not even
send it to your
for other
beta
people to
readers.
read.
Don't do that to them.
Yeah.
You have to, like, Kelly's not even getting my first draft. She's getting, after I read it once or twice, and I deem it acceptable to send on. She's starting to catch up to me, so I've got to edit faster. But, yeah, Even your closest friends, don't inflict that on them. Come on, man. Let's be cool.
You're the only person that should have to suffer through that. You wrote it, you get to suffer through it.
At least you throw it once before you send it to a friend.
There must be a lot of people that do send it, though, because, like, I was reading Donald Mass's Twitter, and he's like, I hate NanoWrimo. Like, flooded, my inbox is flooded right now.
I'm sure agents hate December.
Yeah.
That's
why
why
I'm
a lot of
holding
agents
off on my
are on
queries.
vacation. Yeah. Even if you have, like, a legitimate manuscript to query, personally, I would hold off until, like, the beginning of the year.
Yeah, maybe
for that
send
reason.
a couple.
Yeah, a lot of agents
Even if your
do,
first
like, go
draft
on
is
break.
great.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's
not
great.
perfect.
Even if you think it's great, even if it actually is great, let's wait. Let's be patient.
If you can write a great first draft, that means you can write a really great second draft.
Yeah,
So.
think about that. That'd be so good. You should edit it at least a couple times. Is what I'm suggesting.
And someone else needs to look at it other than you.
Before
once
you send it
you
to
made it look as nice as you can.
That's important. Because you will
but don't
only
go
think
like
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Or really bad.
Don't go like
either or.
look it on your Facebook or some. Don't be like. Anyone want to read this, please? Pretty please.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. They're writers. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're just gonna make you feel good about yourself.
That's why you send it to your mom.
Someone you trust.
Like, when I send it to my mom, like, I expect, her to, like, fix the little things, but it's mostly for, like, encouragement, and, like, she doesn't hate it, because she's my mom.
So it must be good. It must be decent. I can keep going. Yeah, that's good encouragement. But also send it to people who you know are, like, going to give you actual feedback other than it's good, because that's, like, it's great to hear, but it's also the worst to hear, because you're like, come on, I got to fix this. You're not helping. Just saying it's good.
Like, you're saying it's good, but tell me why it's not great. That's what I need to hear.
Yeah.
As much as it might suck.
That's good. That's quotable. For some reason, like, the way your camera, like, blurred, it looked like you just picked up this huge glass of wine on my screen. Just like,
No, sadly, it's just soda.
Okay.
Wine comes later.
Yeah.
wow.
After this
Nano's over.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
So you
we
guys
have a
Is
comment
someone monitoring
that
questions?
is off topic, but worrisome to me, because Kelly said something similar earlier. Rose says she cried when Ignite and Entice were no longer published. They are published. I don't know what's happening
that
to
mean?
Amazon, because Kelly said they're gone. They're up there. They're on
They weren't
Amazon.
gone.
I swear.
I just went to look to buy a copy of Entice in paperback, and I couldn't even buy it in Kindle.
What?
What?
What did you do?
Everybody's going to Amazon now looking for it.
I'm gonna have to go on tonight and make sure everything's okay, because now I'm a little worried.
Technology.
I mean, it should be.
You can still get a
I have.
Yeah,
I have
Ignite
Ignite up
and
on my
Entice
screen.
I'm gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah, I just
tonight.
checked on Amazon and they're there for me. So.
I see the Kindle.
I don't see a. Oh no, wait! I see paperback too.
I do
Erin,
too.
you see Kindle on Amazon.ca?
No, I'm on Amazon.com.
Because
Is it
yeah, all of your
Amazon?
Kindle
Canada
editions are
problem.
showing up as this title is not available in your country.
In Amazon.ca?
Yeah.
Nope, they're both showing up for me.
Don't be a hater. Okay.
Apparently, Erica hates
Why was
Canada.
I just
unavailable in
I'm
Kindle?
gonna be worried about it tonight.
Okay.
It is available. I did not pull them from publishing. They're there somewhere. Try Amazon.com.
Yeah, I didn't know the paperbacks were out yet. Like, I didn't know they were out for
Yeah, I
people to
just
buy,
finished
so.
Entice paperback.
So
Yeah,
I have the
part.
Kindle version just fine, but I don't see paperback.
Canada.
Straight out of Amazon. You two together.
All right.
I'll figure it out later. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, there is paperback. I'm clicking on it.
It might just be rendering again in Barnes & Noble. because that's what she said. It's gone in Barnes & Noble.
Oh.
Because I did put out a second edition of Ignite, and the Intice paperback is new, so maybe...
This one says I can buy Ignite paperback just fine. I haven't clicked on Entice yet, though.
Do we have any other questions?
Mostly...
Last comment.
We have one that says, not super on the topic of Nano, but thoughts on medium used to present a story, books, movie, video. We recommend books.
Yeah.
I would think. Straight across.
Generally, yes.
I think everybody suggests books.
Yeah.
But they want to turn it into a movie later.
I do think it
As a
depends on
group
the
of
story,
authors.
though. Like, some stories are better presented in movie form. Like, they
True.
need to be done visually. And so I think it depends on the story. I think that they have their strengths. Like, you get different things. And that's why I think, like, movie adaptations of books shouldn't be exactly the same as the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They, like, have
If you
different
got
strengths.
a direct translation of The Hunger Games, she'd spend like 20 minutes looking
Just
to
be like her talking.
Just
Yeah.
thinking.
just find the water already. We get it, you're thirsty.
Well, it's like
But it made like a beautiful movie when they changed it.
Yeah, I saw an article recently about Christopher Tolkien. He's J.R.R. Tolkien's son, and basically he's like really been very critical of like the whole Lord of the Rings film franchise and like hates them. And he like went on. It was kind of like a snobbish thing about how like they didn't accurately represent the books and it was too much fantasy action and all this stuff. And it was like, do you realize how boring it would have been if they hadn't like pumped up the action? Like if it was just like people walking the whole time.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of lore.
Walking to the Mount
Yeah.
Doom.
And so yeah, it was snobbish for one thing, and it was also like that practically like it wouldn't work.
No, people
Yeah.
love those movies. People would have a
Yeah.
hard time getting through those movies. If they
and
were
those movies
animated
really
books.
are, they're very loyal like in the spirit of the books. Like there's things that had to be changed to make it a movie, but like out of all the book to movie adaptations I've seen, like they're very loyal to the whole idea.
Yeah,
Story.
the vibe of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a lot of people were complaining about Great Gatsby when it was translated into the most recent movie with Baz Luhrmann and Leo. And all my Carey Mulligan. I personally loved it, but a lot of people were
I
all
liked
upset
it a lot.
because they were like, this is hip hop music, but it's like, yeah, but at the time the music was like hip hop to what it is now, so it helps you understand like the wild parties. If you
Right.
hear
Yeah, that's the one
1920s
thing that
music.
did get me
Yeah.
though. Like while we're watching it, like I'm really into it, and all of a sudden Jay-Z comes on. I'm like, this doesn't feel right to me. But
Everything
like,
feels right
everything
when
else,
Jay-Z is
I
involved.
loved that though. I thought it was like
I
an
just-
interesting. I thought it was an interesting choice because, at least for me, like I wrote a story that takes place a little after the 1920s, and I listen to 1920s music. So when I listen to it, I don't hear this like rebellious music like it was at the time. I hear old 1920s music.
That's true. Yeah.
So when you hear
So,
that, you kind
okay.
of start to get like, oh, this is cool. But then when you play hip hop, you're like, it's a party, and that's kind of like he was trying to modernize it in that way that you understood what was happening, and you're like, this is like a crazy party, and not just like we're 1920s flappers. Look at us, cute, cute, cute. It was like
Right.
everybody's drunk.
Crazy time.
Yeah. And that was not allowed back then.
Okay, so all right, you did put it into some perspective though. But even without that, the movie was great. Like it was a really good movie. I really liked him as Jay Gatsby. He did a really good job.
He was great as Jay Gatsby. And I just read the book for my lit theory class, and I listened to the audiobook for my lit theory class, which was read by, I forgot his name, so I'm not even going to try to remember. But some famous guy who I'm like, oh my god, you're this guy from Brokeback Mountain. Not, Jake
Keanu?
Gyllenhaal. Got it. Nailed it.
Wow.
That's
That's what I was thinking of, but I call him Keanu Reeves.
Close. That would be a weird ebook or audiobook.
That'd be a terrible audiobook.
But I think, like Emma said, you know, book versions are good, but also the movie versions are also good, just for different, like, don't compare them always. Enjoy them for what they are, because they're great most of the time. Apparently Percy Jackson is not very good, but...
No. That's just because it's not a good movie.
The way I look at it is I really enjoyed it as a book, and seeing the movie, I put myself into a different perspective to be able to enjoy it as a viewer. So it's like you can enjoy it twice, because while we do want to see our favorite parts of the book inside the movie, we can't always get it, especially, you know, I already learned that, like, Harry Potter, I think, was the first biggest shock to people, because it was, like, the first really big franchise of, like, our generation, and it was like, I remember that was my first, like, experience of it, too. I'm sitting there, like, wait, that didn't happen, or, you know, this happened in the book, and that happened in the movie.
So mad at the fourth movie. I'm like, where's the cup? Where's the wizard? I wanted to see the game.
The whole movie.
I'm still annoyed about that.
In the movie.
I was devastated.
The movie as a whole
made
is
sense.
really good. And if I wanted to see the maze, I can go read the book and see it in my head. Like,
I just got so mad that I was like, oh, but at the time, like, that was all I had read up to, because I was, like, I got the book right before the movie came out in theaters. So I'm like, I only read up to the game. You're gonna cut out the part that I read. I was so disappointed. Then I went home and I read it. I'm like, actually, they did great. I mean, I missed this and this, but they did great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you compare book to movie, you're always going to be disappointed. You have to, like, compare movies to other movies, you know? But there's, like, a little bit of book to movie comparison you can do. Like, if they really, like, Percy Jackson, they really screwed up the adaptation. Like, they weren't true to the spirit of the story. Like, they just changed everything.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Kind of like the Ella Enchanted movie, which is just the most awful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
Ella Enchanted. I just get angry every time I watch it.
Bad.
I tried
the Delirium pilot.
It ticked me off so much. Like, the soundtrack they used for that just made me go down in flames. It was awful.
Yeah, Ella Enchanted was, like, on Netflix recently, I think, and I turned it on. I was like, you know, I had not watched it in so long, and I was like, it's still cute, and the guy who plays Char is cute. I'll watch it. And I just got so angry while I was watching it. I was like, no, I can't watch this movie.
Mistake. That's how I felt watching the Delirium pilot episode.
Yeah,
I saw the first book into one episode.
Yeah. Which was a mistake. You're gonna run out of episodes.
Yeah.
One book in one.
Wait, they did the whole book in one episode? How is that?
They cut out, like, it was so weird because
it was like she saw him and then they were on the beach together and then they were in
and suddenly it's like, I'm following you and I kind of like you and now I love you and let's run away together.
Okay.
And her friend's like, don't do this. Don't. And then the wolf boy from Wizards of Waverly Place is there and it's like, I'm the son of that dude who's important. Great summary.
Wow.
Yeah, they introduced Julian so
early. I think, like, all these examples of bad movie adaptations, they're straight up just bad movies or bad TV shows. Like, that's what, you know, like, I think when you screw up the adaptation so badly, it just becomes, like, bad storytelling.
A bad movie, yeah. At that point. It's just, what are you doing?
Books are always wonderful.
I think the author needs to be on the scene, like, a certain amount.
Or at least consulted. You know, at least email them a couple times, be like, how's this sound? Does this scene look okay?
Like, or we're completely
or just the people making the movies need to be fans. I think that's the thing. Sometimes you get people making the movies that are just like, oh, this is popular, it'll make money, sure, I'll be involved in it. There needs to be someone who loves the story.
And somebody who realizes that, like, fans that say, like City of Bones fans are super fans. You have to realize that if you do this wrong, there's not going to be any more movies.
Are they doing it as a movie? Are they doing it as a TV show now or something?
Yeah, they're adapting it as like a
movie.
show.
They're not doing it as a movie.
The movie was so bad.
It was
Wait,
which
with
I
the
have
same
no idea how that's
actors or with different actors?
I don't think so. I think they're using different actors. I would be surprised if
I hope they are, because the guy who played Jace, I wanted to throw him off a cliff.
See, I didn't mind him. I didn't like the way they styled him. Because I like Jamie Campbell Bower. I just didn't like what they did to his
everything.
Yeah, the way they styled him, I was just like, don't do that.
I don't think he was a mistake. I don't think he was a good Jace in the first place, though. I don't know. It's just such, or it could just be because honestly, it's a flat character. Let's be. Like, I'm gonna be totally honest here. He's like the typical bad boy. He's a 2D, but the books are still good. I still like them, but.
And also, people have such a strong idea of who he is in their head that literally anybody you cast is gonna be wrong.
Right.
I don't know. It would have been better than
that kind of goes across the board for a lot of other characters.
I was just gonna say, like, To me,
Movies,
if
TVs.
Fangirl was ever made into anything visual, Levi would be impossible to be as well.
Yeah,
because,
true.
That'd be
You know?
hard. So everybody would be hard in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I couldn't cast any of them.
Nope.
I need to
I
see
really
how
like the YouTube short that Mary-Kate Wiles was in. For
Yeah,
I love
cool.
that.
So well
I liked
done.
that one a lot.
I didn't see that one. For Fangirl?
Yeah, it was just like a YouTube short.
It is like
was
one
from
scene.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go look that up.
It was really cute.
That would be cute. I would see a Fangirl movie. I totally would.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the movies that I would watch all the time.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, they're making Eleanor Park into a movie, but I want Fangirl.
Well,
I still have to read Eleanor and Park.
me too.
I do too.
It's good. It's pretty good.
It's very, very good.
It's on my Christmas wish list that I sent my family. Because every
It's
time I
on
walk
mine
into
too.
a bookstore, I see it, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this, and then I have like 6 other books as well, though, and then I have to choose, and I'm like all torn.
See,
It's like,
anytime I walk into a bookstore and I pick up books, I get yelled at by everybody around me that I don't have money to buy them, so I put them.
Aw, don't bring people with you.
I can't leave empty-handed. That's not a nice thing to
Go
do.
by yourself next
That's
time.
rude. They're gonna think I'm stealing something if I don't buy something.
That's right.
Probably.
Yeah, movie
You have to support
adaptations.
the
When are we doing
bookstore.
our Mockingjay chat? Have we decided about that?
Who hasn't seen
I
it?
still have to see it.
We're doing it
I'm
like
gonna have to see it again. Just
I know.
know.
Right?
I'm just gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to see it again.
I'm just gonna
I
bite the
have
bullet.
to, you know, refresh my memory.
Wait, am I the only one who hasn't seen it yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're waiting on you.
again this week.
I'm up
Shame
for
on
it.
you.
No pressure, Erica.
It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. I don't think I can take it.
Get
I
on
don't
it.
think
You're just gonna have to go
Oh my
back,
God.
I guess.
That last scene though. The last
Oh
scene.
my goodness.
I've seen a few.
You gotta do it.
No, I've seen a few gifs already. So
Oh my god.
I am
I'm
obsessively
trying to
listening
prepare
to
myself.
Penny
Oh, yes.
Tree on
I'm
YouTube.
getting
Erica, were you the
goosebumps
one
even
that
thinking about it
Tumblr-
right now.
The one gif that was like, they're not a monster when you love them or something like that? I died. when I saw
I
that.
saw
Ugh.
I saw the hijacked version of Beta, and let me just say this: why?
I know.
Why?
For
They did a
real.
really good job with his progression throughout the
Yeah.
movie. That like he wasn't in it a whole lot,
Oh, it was
but
so
like
sad.
just seeing his face
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
what
It was like, yeah, like
happened
what
to
they
him.
what they did with his look and the way he played
Yes.
the character.
Guys, this is a different Jack.
Yes,
I
yes.
know.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah.
excited.
It's too exciting.
It's like you
Are we
can't
doing
say
that?
Mr. J.
Are we doing that chat next week or the week after? When do you think
Okay,
you'll
what do you
get to see it?
When are you gonna see it?
My sister's not coming back until next Thursday. Not this Thursday, so the next one. So
Okay, so maybe
I
that.
probably won't be able to see it then.
Tight.
I don't think she's seen it yet either.
Plan on in 2 weeks.
And
Okay.
Plan to do.
I'm already starting
Give
to
back 2
sweat.
weeks.
So,
I'm so nervous.
back to NanoWrimo.
Gift.
We were talking about
You like my art of transition there?
that. Very subtle.
What years of hosting will get you?
So he's starting a new project after you edit, like in January. Anyone?
I'm going back to an old project.
Going back to an old one.
Yeah, I've gotten beta notes for my other manuscript, so I want to do those first, so I can start querying that one.
Also, a question: is anyone taking a break from their Nano project, like now? Like
I
taking a
am.
break for a little while.
Should.
Just
I think that's
until-
a good idea. Like,
Just a little.
let it
speaking
sit
of like
for a
editing
little
and
bit.
stuff, like it might be a good idea to like take a break before you reread it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
I
break was
think
that
so.
1 week from when I finished Insight to when December started. I'm like, okay, now you really have to edit this thing. You gotta get
I
it
found
out.
a week is like perfect for me. Like I don't lose interest in it, but when I look back at it, it's like it's totally
fresh,
the story.
Mm-hmm. I forget a lot of things that I write, so usually looking back at something even a couple days later, I'm like, who wrote this?
That happened to me. That's the first time it ever happened to me. I wrote a scene that wasn't part of my plot, and I went back through just like sorting through everything. I'm like, wait a minute, did I write this? I don't even remember. I was in the haze of
It
NanoWrimo in
happens
the beginning,
all the time
and it just happened. And I'm like,
I think I'm I just have
It wasn't
very
half
poor
bad
memory,
either.
maybe. That's the exciting thing. You're like, this is good. Did I write that? Or did elves sneak onto my computer when I was sleeping? Maybe.
Elves.
Maybe.
Probably.
It's the elves. Nano elves.
So after you guys take the break from a manuscript, what's like the first thing you step into if you're gonna be editing it?
I do a very, very fast read-through. Like, I don't read every sentence, or that would take a while. I just kind of skim and remember everything plot-wise and see, like, search for any major holes, and then kind of remind myself of what happened along the way, so I can pick out the issues that I need to focus on. Like I mentioned earlier, I forgot about a major wound that somebody has that affects them for the rest of the book, and I'm like, oh, you dropped that like 2 chapters after it happened. Pick it up. Pick it up and
That's
remember.
not enough time to heal.
It's a scarring permanent thing. Big issues. Like
my
that.
thing is, I need to get back into the mind frame, especially like after the end of this month. I'm going to be reading the selection, which is very different from what I'm writing. So I think once that's done, like the music plays a really big influence in this manuscript. And I'm just going to keep listening to that playlist that I created and go to my Pinterest inspiration board and get back into the head of my characters. And then I'm going to just go jump in first. But I don't want to just jump in because as I was writing it through Nano, I kind of had a different mindset. But then as I started writing it, I kind of like delved into like a deeper, darker place. And I kind of want to keep that tone throughout the whole book.
You
so I have to go back and get morbid and go from there.
It happened. Welcome. Come sit in my dark closet with me. We could get morbid.
I posed a question. I wasn't able to make one of the chats, and I was like, I'm struggling because I didn't know how I wanted it to end, if I wanted my character to go to dark side or not. And then you guys said, you always go dark side, so I just did. And it just it got really, really dark from there. So yeah. I might have to tone it down just a little bit in the beginning because then I have nowhere to go, like, as the story progresses. So.
You know, for the first time, I did pull myself back a little bit on the violence as I was writing because I was like, there's a lot of fighting in a majority of this book. Like, it's all action and fight scenes. And one scene I wrote, and I stopped, and I was like, that might have been too much. Just, let's kill this person a different way because that crossed a line. Yeah, you gotta get back on this side. Like I get it, but too far. Too far. So it's,
you know it's bad when you're saying that to yourself.
Yeah. And I was like, it was just a teeny bit. Oh, like I think if I had less fighting throughout the whole thing, it would have been not as big of an issue. But when it's a lot of violence, and then it's just like there's some torture scenes. There are actually a few torture scenes now that I'm thinking of it. And then like big war scenes, and there was one kill described that I was like, ooh, no, not today, not right now. We'll do that in a different book.
Kill someone else that way later.
When there's some room to breathe around such a serious killing. Yeah, dark side. Go dark side always.
Yes. This was my darkest ending yet, definitely.
Mm-hmm. So. I always I want to go for the happily ever after, and I think I've decided a way to pull it off without people hating, the main character at the end. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, like, it's definitely a different step from what I used to.
Mine this year definitely did not have a happily ever after. It had a definitively unhappy ending. So.
See, I think for my first couple books, I usually don't have a great ending, like not a super cheerful one at least. But this is the first ending. It's not necessarily like the end and then like butterflies fly out from the book or something. But it's the first one that I'm like really confident, especially this being like a series ending, which is like I'm terrified. But I feel really good about where I leave things, which takes a little bit of pressure off of it because I'm like the ending is, I nailed the ending. You nailed the ending. I just don't, what we complain about with Allegiant is that everything that we had hoped for these series was just thrown away.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, so I want to make sure that, you know.
Did you have this ending in
Stay
mind when you
close.
started writing the book? For the first book?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it was a slight variation on it that was a little more cheesy because it was more of an inexperienced ending of like, if I were to write this for the first time, this is how I'd end it. But it's that, but like better. So like.
But you tweaked it, so you changed it as you changed, which I didn't get that same feeling with Allegiant. I felt like it was just uncharacterized. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the ending. I wasn't rigid enough to be like, it has to happen just like this. And I made it less cheesy, I guess is the best way to say it. Because the first ending I had was just very Disney ending. And I was like, oh, that doesn't fit at all with the rest of it. But this is better. I feel more confident. So when did you guys come up with your endings, or do you still not have them?
I was mid-November when I decided. You guys helped me decide how to end it. I was going one of two ways, and I kind of knew that, like, what was going to happen at the fork, but I didn't know which path to take. So it was mid-November before I actually had a concrete idea of how it was ending.
Yeah. I started my plotting at the very beginning of October, and I had no clue what my ending was going to be, but I, like, started plotting anyway. And I read this post on publishingcrawl.com about writing horror, and I wanted this one to kind of be like fantasy bordering on like horror-esque. And she said something in that post that she like made a suggestion for ways you could spice up your fantasy horror or whatever, and it made everything click, and I realized like, oh, this isn't the villain, this is the villain. Oh, this is how it has to end. Like, this is going to have to be the ending.
You had your aha moment.
Yes.
The light bulb.
Yes, it was the most light bulb moment I've ever had.
The brightest.
I got really excited. Yeah. So I have really, really high hopes for this book.
I think that's like a lot of times, at least for me, that's how my endings come to me. Is it's like that's it. Like, it's not, I can try to plot it out as much as I can, and I'll be like, this is where I want to go. But, I mean, for me at least, it was just, I was thinking of, okay, I'm getting close to the end. Things are wrapping up. How do I really want to drive this home? And then it just kind of smacked me in the face, and I emailed Kelly, and I said, here's what's happening. So I had to run it by her to make sure that it wasn't like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I ran mine by my writing group, too. They're the best.
But it's important, you know, when you have that, like, yes, you want to at least tell somebody so that you don't put all of your effort into it before it's like, no, that's stupid. That is a terrible idea. It's like, what if she turns into a lizard? Everything makes sense. Like, does it, though? Just ask yourself, does it? Because probably not. But it is, I think, a lot of writing sometimes. It's a combination of skill and luck. And sometimes you gotta wait for that luck.
Yeah. It's like this really cool moment where suddenly you, like, for this one it was the character revealed itself to me. And it was like, oh, I understand you as a person, so now I know exactly what you would do.
They became real. And then you're like, stop talking to me. You're bad. I'm trying to sleep, sir. Endings are hard, though.
Yeah.
And
They're
scary.
way harder than the beginning.
My initial like want for Nano was for this project to be a standalone because I really wanted it to be like one and done. But now I'm like, now too much is happening in the span of one novel, and I'm like, the plot is too much. So I'm like, man, now I have to write number 2. So I was originally planning on going back into my previous writing, which was the Alien YA, but I think I'm still gonna push that back a little bit, which I'm nervous about because I really want to finish that one too, because that's like my passion project. But so I think I'm gonna maybe possibly stretch this one out a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, right on the high of it.
Go with it.
Yeah.
Go with it. You got it. We believe in you.
We super believe in you.
I think if you try to like force yourself to write the one that you're less passionate about, you'll get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Both.
Yep.
That was my Nano issue. So something that I decided I hated halfway through the book.
See, my beginning Nano problem was that I was going to write 2 projects this month. And the first one was Insight, and then the second one was this other project that I was really excited about, but I was already spending so much time and I really needed to push for Insight, so I'm like, oh, this one can just be, wait there. I'll be right back. Just gotta go check on this manuscript real quick, and then I'll come and take care of you. And it's definitely, I think being successful in Nano is finding that project that you're like, yes, every day, let's write it. Or it's just kind of like, I really could take a break for like a month.
Forever.
And then it'll be fine.
And just not go back to it.
Just trash it.
Yeah, like I knew I was on the right track when it was like 9 o'clock, you know, my kid's in bed, everything's like simmering down. I'm like, I'm just going to jump on, I'm just going to write a few, you know, bump up my word count, even though I've already met my word count for the day. And then it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, holy crap, I have work tomorrow morning. I need to sleep sometime between then and now. And that's when I realized, like, I really want to run with this idea. Like, it's really starting to come together.
Awesome.
So, and something cool.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say,
take it off topic.
Something cool about Nano, I think, is that you don't have to revise the book. The first year I did NanoWrimo, it was my first ever completed manuscript, and I loved the story. It was a ghost story set in St. Augustine, which is the oldest city in the continental United States, and I loved it. I loved everything about it, but I read through it, and I was like, this was a really good experience, but it's not going to get me anywhere. So I didn't spend all that time revising it. And now,
at the very least.
Yeah, and I left it alone enough that now I can take that story and I have some really good ideas for a complete rewrite. So I didn't like overpick it, so now I can make it something.
Never delete your writing.
Yes, that's why you should never get rid of anything.
So true. The more manuscripts you like sort of manage to stack up, the more choice you have when you go back through them and decide what you can really work with.
Yeah, you will hopefully continue to get better as a writer. So if you have a piece that you're like, this is good, just not now. Hold on to it. In a couple years, it might be right for you.
Yeah, I've never heard of someone getting worse at writing the longer.
No, I don't think
that's possible.
No.
Not be good.
That's the great thing about writers is that like people are always complaining like, oh, I still haven't been published and I'm like 35 now, and there are people that are published that are 20, and it's like, yeah, but the older you get, the better you get. It's not like you're running out of time.
As long as you keep writing.
As long as you're writing consistently. As long as you keep writing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of writers who don't get published until they're older.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like cheesecake. The older it gets, the better it tastes. Sort of.
Is that true about cheesecake?
Is that true?
I don't think that's true about cheesecake. I think you're thinking just cheese. I think you're thinking just cheese.
Actually, cheesecake is like, I have a friend who's a chef, and she made cheesecake for my wedding, and it is true that you want cheesecake to age for a little bit, but then if it gets past a certain point, it's true. I know.
That is so weird.
Shocked. Yeah, you want it to age for like a couple of weeks, and then but if it gets past a certain point, because it's cheese.
Yeah.
But if it gets past a certain point, then you don't want it anymore. But
that is so
I
weird
know.
and interesting.
I'm so shocked by this.
I just learned.
We're now more cultured because we know more about cheese. If I ever go to the Cheesecake Factory, I'm gonna be like, is this the aged cheesecake or is this the fresh?
I need your oldest.
What year is this?
I need your aged cheesecake.
What's your finest 2 weeks? Your finest year of cheesecake?
I don't care how expensive it is. Great.
Yeah, I think if you go into the Cheesecake Factory and ask for that, they're going to look at you.
I will quiz them on the age of their cheesecake. I was going to ask earlier, based on what Kaylin was saying about like how she would go and start writing, then all of a sudden it would be 3 o'clock. How do you guys know when you're in that writing zone? Because for me personally, it is I go zombie, which is my house could be on fire, and I do not see it, I do not hear it, I cannot smell it. my dad was in the room when I started writing once, and by the time I looked up, a couple hours later,
Gone.
he had left the state. And I was like, Dad? Hello?
I definitely do that
I'm living
sometimes.
a
I did that with, I was supposed to meet someone for coffee at like 3 or something, so I'm like, okay, I'll leave at 2:30. I started writing at 12, and then it was
Oh, there you
3
go.
o'clock, and she emailed me like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize the time. Like, so that does happen to me sometimes. It gets me in trouble, but only if it's a story I really love.
I guess I kind of go in that trance too, because I don't know it until I'm done and I look up and I'm like,
Yes.
holy crap, it's 3 in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything's different. Everything has changed. It is now winter. I started and it was hot outside. Now it's snowing. What year is it? Who's the president? I don't know anymore. I've been working.
See, I don't get in quite as much of a trance as that. Like, I'm very aware of like what time it is, but I'm always like, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. It's okay. It'll be fine. I don't need to eat right now. Just a little bit more.
Yep.
I've gotten into the habit now of like quitting things while I'm writing, so I'll quit my email. I'll hide, like, on my computer I can block all notifications, and I'll put my phone on like the sleep mode, and everything will be silent. So the only time I'll look up is if like I put on a movie or something while I'm writing. Like when I was writing in Psych, I watched The Santa Claus a lot, and I watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey.
What a strange combination.
There's no influence to the book. It has nothing to do with. I mean, I wrote what was it, Madly Deeply, while I was watching Great Gatsby. My movie choices are not indicative of the tone, but I would only look up when it ended. I'm like, it's over, and then I hit play again, and I start writing, and then I'm gone. So
yeah, I think I have that extra benefit. I have a PC and I have my taskbar hidden, so I don't see my time unless I scroll my mouse down and then my taskbar pops up. So it's like even when I'm writing, I try to only keep up my Scrivener document thing and my Google Drive. Like all my other tabs are closed out. It's the only time I ever close out all of my tabs is when I'm actually like setting in to write. I don't even see the clock on my screen. Otherwise, like I'm constantly like looking at the time at the corner, and it's not there anymore. So I get lost track of time all the time.
It's especially helpful with Scrivener when you go full screen and you can black it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can black it out. I don't like it all the way black. I'm like, it's too dark. So I do it like you can kind of see the background because if I'm listening to music, I want to see what song is playing, or I get mad because I'm a weirdo. But you can hide that stuff with it full screen. Scrivener, man. It's a lifesaver.
Megan, do you have it on PC?
Yeah, PC.
Oh, okay, because I know at one point that wasn't a PC feature. I need to go through all of the new stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah, when you bring it in full screen, there's a little, if you go bring your mouse all the way down, a little bar pops up and you can like adjust the paper or whatever.
Transparency.
I will have to look into that.
It's amazing.
It's helpful.
I did it for NanoWrimo.
It's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
And you can also, I'm assuming it's the same on Windows, you can also change the width of the page.
Yeah.
To be like narrow, because I don't like it when it's super wide, but I don't want it super narrow. Yeah. It has to be like just right.
Right in the middle.
This is not it.
And it's not right. I feel like too much like a computer document. So I like to keep it smaller to where it looks more book-like, like with the paragraphs.
Oh, so I have to keep
it like that.
Bigger. I keep it bigger than the book, but smaller than like full screen, because when it gets full screen, I can't tell my paragraphs as well because it's just like really long string.
Right.
So it has to be at just that sweet spot of like where my eye will just stop. Again, we are not we're not paid by Scrivener to say this. We fully believe.
We like it a lot, but we love it.
We recommend it. And if you won Nano, you get a discount code. So
50% off.
I think even if you participated in Nano, you get 20% off. I'm not sure of that.
Either way. And it is worth it. I bought it on all of my computers now. Every computer has Nano.
Somebody sent me a link saying it was like $20 this month or something. I don't know.
With the 50% off, it's 20.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Someone said that. It was on sale or something. I probably missed it, though.
Maybe it was for
Maybe it was a Black Friday.
Probably.
Yeah. Like
I really
those
need to get it
nails.
though because my Word is like doing weird things.
Yeah.
I'll be like, let's indent an entire page. Yay!
Yeah,
Cool.
no,
Why are
Word
you
is the
doing that?
worst.
You'll have to
It
get used
said
to not
on the-
saving on Scrivener.
It's
What?
on the winner thing
No.
that
Oh
you
no, I
can-
still save. I hit Control S all the time. Like after
Oh,
every
it just
couple
backs it up
paragraphs,
for me.
I'll Control S. No,
I thought
it does it
automatically
automatically.
saved. Yeah.
It does, but in my brain, I can't let myself think that
Oh.
because then if it doesn't, for whatever reason, I'm gonna blame the computer, and I should blame myself for not Control S'ing. It's I do it at work a lot because I work a lot in Excel, so you have to save all the time because if something gets lost, it's a whole day's work. So like every time I do like a few things, I Control S. So it's like a tick that I have now. No matter what software I'm in, if I have to save it, I'm Control S'ing at least every 5 minutes.
For me, I always just have to remember to quit out of Scrivener when I'm finished, so it'll save it because I just have it automatically. It's on my Google Drive, so when I open it, it already it's automatically backing up to Google. And if my computer dies, it's fine. It's on Google.
Mhm.
So when I quit it, it saves it. And also, you have to quit it. So if I open it on my desktop, it's like, hey, it's open on your laptop. You forgot to exit. You're gonna overwrite. And I'm like, you're right. You got me.
Dang.
I apologize. My fault.
You can save the whole file on Google Drive.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, that way you don't have to.
Dropbox.
I do it on
Yeah.
Dropbox. I didn't know that you were able to do it on Google Drive. I thought I tried once and it gave me an error. I don't
It
know, I'll have to
works
try.
fine for me for Google Drive, mostly because my Dropbox is so full that I can't keep anything else on it. So I have like some Scrivener files on it, but mostly Google Drives is where I go because that's a lot more space for free, and I am not paying for it. So
Oh man. So we've been going for about an hour. I just checked and it doesn't look like we have any new questions.
no.
Does anyone have any final wrapping up NanoWrimo type of thoughts that you wanted to touch on?
Just
Let
like
it
that,
breathe.
try to do. Somebody I know people are doing NanoWrimo, I guess, and I'm thinking I might do that because I
Ooh.
Well, I know
failed
that
at
Tips and
NanoWrimo.
Dinners
Or
are doing Detox December, where they're like getting rid of a lot of their internet stuff to write.
Oh, that's a
Or
good
you could do
idea.
Write All Year.
Right on
No.
you!
Like
Patrick Press is
50,000
doing
words
that.
a month every single month.
No, you said
No,
you set
right
your
now
own.
you set your own goal so that
Yeah.
you can track it, and it's all like the community, and that's what we should talk about right now for closing this up.
Yeah.
Press.
I really want to do that.
Has it's basically the spirit of Nano, of that community with word sprints going all year round, but without the you have to get 50,000 or you don't win. Because, like sometimes it's cool to write 50,000 words a month, but other times that doesn't line up with your
Not
goals.
doable.
So if you change it, you can set your own goals, and there's going to be weekly pep talks, and you can chat in the forums and message other people and have profiles, and there will probably be like downloadable word count trackers with cool chart things like Kelly had a while ago.
I'm going to be forcing that on everybody.
I love that thing.
I love that idea.
And we already have someone pretty cool who signed up. Can we say it, Kelly?
I don't think we can say.
We can't say. It's a secret. It is big, though. So you want to get involved.
Right now, nobody's technically
Do it.
signed up. There's just a newsletter to let people know. So, seeing as
I mean, we're
nobody's
not
technically
saying that it's J.K. Rowling who's involved. We're also not
Anyone.
We're not saying that.
not her.
I'm not saying that.
You know where we're coming from. But yeah, if you want more information on that, my video yesterday was all about that with the links. And
It's
I talked about it.
cool. It's gonna be so
I think
cool.
it's
guys.
gonna
I'm
pretty
really
cool.
excited. Because I'm already miss NanoWrimo and
I do, and
the
that's
hashtag and
yeah.
people cheering you on. And
like I'm doing like I just like I'm so close to 50,000 words now, and I went to go like plug it in the Nano, and I'm like it's not Nano anymore. I don't have a graph or like a chart to tell me how good I'm doing and how bad I'm doing, because that was my biggest motivation.
It's that public
It's that chart.
accountability. Yeah, that public accountability with other people seeing, like, you can update, be like, yeah, look, I wrote this much today.
I'm
And
the
other people are like, wow, you did write that much today. And you're like, yeah, no, I just kind of wrote it. No big deal. Kind of a big deal.
But I just lied. I'm like, 10,000 every day! That's
Girl,
I
that's
do not lie on NanoWrimo.
But yeah, write all year. Watch the video from
Write all
yesterday
year.
because it's a long.
patchwork-press.com.
There you
That's
go.
it. It's a subdomain of Patchwork Press. So, and it's way cool. Get it?
Super,
Right all
super
year.
cool.
Way W-A and see what it's way cool. Just go and sign up for the newsletter and you'll be involved and we're gonna be there. Don't you like us?
Don't you want more of us in your life?
Don't you want more?
We're not with you enough.
If our daily videos aren't
Everyone
enough for
every
you.
single day isn't enough.
No, be with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We want you.
I'm living our lives.
7 days a week.
Before we start scaring people.
On that creepy note.
On that super creepy note, on that way creepy note, be sure to check out the video from yesterday. If you want more information about that, check out the website, sign up. Be sure to watch our videos this week, because this week in our videos is when we will announce what next week's topic is.
Don't you want to know that?
I already have an idea, but I'll wait till after.
Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe if you are not subscribed, comment, share it with your friends, because we're really close to 1,000 subscribers, and
If you're not subscribed, what's wrong with you?
Oh.
Wait, real quick.
Taking you so
Monumental
long.
moment. Monumental moment right now. My sister's actually watching us.
What?
This is the first time ever. It's like she
cares.
cares. It's like she cares.
Wow.
Although she told me to stop coming on to the audience. I apologize. Scolded already.
I like it. Yeah, we will see you Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday and all together next Sunday.
Yeah.
All the
Thanks for
time.
watching.
All we're nerds all the time.
All the time. Bye.